Hello, everyone. This is Sarah Haas. This is the Boss Body Podcast, and I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited because my special guest today is Kristy Haynes. She is the owner of Real Hot Yoga in Johnson City, Tennessee, which is right near where I live. I am an avid member there and have been for several years, and I'm a huge fan. And I'm a huge fan of yoga. And I know that I have seen so many benefits for myself. And I have many listeners who are looking to not only lose weight, but also to get their bodies in shape and to start incorporating some type of exercise and body movements into their lives. And yoga is such an amazing way to do that. So I want to welcome Kristy Haynes. How are you, Kristy? Thank you for being here.
I am great. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, if you don't mind, just to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into yoga and that kind of thing, just get a little bit of background.
Okay, sure. So I've always been a pretty active person, and I've always found that movement and exercise is so important to my overall stress reduction and just being able to enjoy life. So I have always been pretty active. I was a big runner for lots of years, many years, pounding the pavement. I had lots of fun doing races and 5Ks and things like that. And about 10 years ago, I had a running injury. So I got plantar fasciitis in one of my feet and I couldn't run. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go crazy if I can't do something. And a girlfriend of mine was like, you should try hot yoga. It's, first of all, it can help heal your plantar fasciitis, but it's also something, new that you could check out that's not going to be so hard on your joints. And it also gives you that rush that run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is before Real Hot Yoga in Johnson City. So I used to get in my car and drive over the mountain to Asheville, North Carolina, which is about an hour. And I would do hot yoga there. And the first class, I was like, okay, what was that? That was, I don't know what I just did to my body,
It's a
but
whole new experience,
yeah.
isn't it?
But then I was like, and I want to come back tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I just fell in love from the beginning, and I kept traveling back and forth for a couple of years before we had the local studio, and then when Real Hot Yoga opened in Johnson City, it was like, oh yay, this is so great. This is something I can do more than once a week or occasionally because it's 5 minutes from my house. So that's kind of the story of how I got into it. So after Real Hot Yoga opened in Johnson City, I went through the teacher training program there. And it's a 200-hour teacher training program that is registered with Yoga Alliance. And it takes the place over several months. And it's a lot of hard work. And it's just so rewarding. And I did that about 7 years ago. So I became a teacher. And then the original owner of Real Hot Yoga, got an opportunity out of town. So she came to me and she was like, "You're here all the time anyway. You love it. Do you want to purchase the studio?" So that's kind of how I ended up as the owner, and I just love it. It's my happy place, and
Yeah.
I've met.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad you did because it's one of my happy places as well. And I know that I've seen so many benefits, not just physical, but mental. Like you said, when you go in there, you can just kind of let the world melt away. So, will you just kind of tell the listeners some of the benefits of yoga, both for their physical bodies and for their mental well being?
Sure. Well, first of all, yoga in general is so beneficial, whether it's heated or non heated, just that mind body connection that is yoga, and the breath work that yoga incorporates has so many benefits. Of course, we like hot yoga at Real Hot Yoga. And there are some benefits that are specific to the heated environment. But really, any kind of yoga practice is going to improve flexibility. And it's funny because I hear all the time, I'm not flexible. I can't do yoga. That's my
Mhm.
number one argument people
Mhm.
say to me. And I always say to them, that's like saying you are too dirty for a shower. So
Exactly. That's how
it,
you gain flexibility. You don't go when you already have something, you go so that you can grow towards that.
exactly, exactly. And of course, the heated space really allows that to happen quicker and more effectively. Um,
Mhm.
warm muscles are able to stretch more than cold muscles. So it really does improve flexibility faster and at a greater rate.
And it's not just flexibility, it's also strengthening.
For sure, for sure. It actually has been shown to build bone density. As you hold the poses, you are carrying your own body weight, which is so great in building bone density, but also toning and sculpting your muscles. I mean, it's amazing. Um, the before and after we see with a lot of students who come in and they do want to see changes in their body and they want to see improved health, and it's, I mean, for sure something that that can benefit you in that way as well.
Yeah, a lot of people think of yoga and they think, oh, it's just stretching. But like you said, it's body weight exercises. You're going to see some toning and muscle building in your arms, in your legs, in your core, all over. So it's a workout and a stress relief, and
Right.
it's great for your muscles. So I mean, I can't say enough good things about it.
Another thing that the heat does is it adds kind of a cardiovascular element to the practice. With the heat added, your heart rate is going to increase. And so you're getting that cardiovascular benefit without having to do those high impact movements that you
Mhm.
might do for running or doing an aerobics class or something like that. So
So it can be
that's
more joint friendly for
right.
those who, aren't able to run, or if you're carrying extra weight and just pounding on your knees and your hips, isn't a good idea.
Absolutely. And as we get older, we have to think about those things.
Yes.
Another thing just to mention is that if you said earlier, stress relief, it actually has been shown in studies to not only reduce stress, but also to ease depression,
Mhm.
which something that a lot of us battle with. And it's something that, in the hot environment, in the space, you are really looking inward, you're paying attention to your body, your movement with your breath. And it really is an amazing way to let go of the outside world. You're really
Mhm.
just focusing on you and giving yourself that time to do something that's going to be good for you. So
Yeah, it's a form of self-care. It's
it is.
giving yourself that 1 hour to focus on you and, like you said, go inward. And also, I suffer from anxiety and depression. And with anxiety, you're always worrying about things and thinking about your to-do list or worrying about what is to come. And when you're in yoga, you're in the moment. You're focusing on the poses, you're focusing on the movements, you're focusing on where you are in that present moment, and it really can bring that anxiety level down. And then when you leave, your mood is completely different.
Right. Right.
So as we're talking, it's occurring to me that a lot of people that are my listeners haven't either tried yoga or haven't done any in a long time, or they may not have exercised in a while, and it can sound kind of intimidating. And so I wondered if you could just speak to that. Like, who are the classes appropriate for, and what types of clients come in to do yoga?
Sure. Well, first of all, anybody can do yoga. If you can breathe, and you can move, you can do yoga. And that's one of the beautiful things about the practice, is that it is approachable to people of all different physical abilities. We have students who haven't moved in years or who are healing from injuries. We also have professional athletes who've come to the studio who are looking to cross train or to add some flexibility work to their current regimen. And those two students can take the same class and both get so many benefits. So it is really unique in that way. I taught class yesterday, and there was a student who had never taken class before. It was her first hot yoga class. And then next to her was a student who it was his 500th class.
Mm-hmm.
And we're able to practice, and you can modify to make it more approachable to a beginner, and then you can also amplify and make it something challenging and fun for somebody who is a very experienced yogi. So it's something I plan on practicing until I'm in my 90s.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about the classes is that the instructor will always say, make this class your own. I'm going to push you, but don't feel like you have to do every move. Make sure you modify it to be appropriate for you. And if you need a rest, you take a break. And
Right.
then they always will show modifications. And so you have lots of choices. And like you said, there's all different abilities and levels in the same class. And nobody's worried about what anybody else is doing because you're just focusing on you.
That's something that I really want to emphasize is people think, oh, I'm going to look silly. I don't know the names of the postures. I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone's going to be looking at me. No one is paying attention to anybody else's practice. That's something that the heat brings to the class. It's something that you have to really focus on your breath and your body and your movement, and you're not really looking at anybody else in the room and what they're doing because you're there to focus on you. So it's so cool. We have classes where I see mothers and daughters come, and fathers and sons and grandparents, and it's something that really is a practice for everybody
Mhm.
age of life.
Yeah, and
Um,
there are high school students in there, and then there are senior citizens in there, and
right.
everywhere in between.
Um, we have a class called Yin Yoga, which is very slow and meditative. And it's a beautiful place to start if you're a beginner and you've never experienced hot yoga before. It's more stretching based, and you get really into the deeper connective tissues, the ligaments and the tendons, and you hold postures for 3 to 5 minutes. The room's going to be dark. It's going to be calming. But then on the other hand, we also have a class called Hit Hop Yoga
I know that one very well.
class where you're going to have yoga flows, but you might be doing burpees, or you
Mhm,
might be jumping jacks, and it's going to be super high intensity, and it's done to hip hop music. So
mhm.
that would be like the polar opposite of yin yoga
But
before you
it's
take.
so great because you have somewhere to start, and then as you get in better shape, as you start learning the poses, as you get a little more flexible and a little more endurance, there are other options to keep increasing your fitness level. So there's really, something for everyone. So if my listeners want to find you, tell us where they can look.
So we have a website, and it's realhotyoga.net. And then you will select your city, because we do have several locations in the southeast and also in the northeast.
Mhm.
Um, you can find our studio, if you click on Johnson City, we have our schedule and class descriptions and all kinds of tips and things that you would need. What do I wear to yoga? How long are the classes? All of those questions. We have a lot of frequently asked questions. So that's all listed on our website. We also do a lot of communication through social media, and
Hmm.
our Instagram is Real Hot Yoga JC. So check us out there too.
Great. And if somebody wants to come in for the first time, do you have some kind of like an introductory offer so that they don't have to go all in, so they can
Sure.
try it out and get their feet wet?
Yes. So we have a great intro offer. It's 30 days of yoga for $45. So the price of a drop in, just one single class, is 22. So if you do the intro offer and even take two classes, you're going to get your money's worth. But you do have 30 days
Hmm.
to test out the different classes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kristy. You shared so much great information with us. I know this is going to be really useful for a lot of people. And I just want to spread the love for yoga because I love it so much. And obviously, you're very passionate about it and just encouraging lots of people to try it out. So, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. One other thing I want to mention before we wrap up, uh, we talked a lot about the physical and the mental benefits, but one of the things that's really cool about our studio specifically is the community of people that practice there. And it's something I think we all learned during the pandemic when we were not able to be in class in person. We did a lot of things on Zoom and we did a lot of things on video, but the community aspect of the studio is really really special.
Yeah.
So we encourage your listeners to find a studio and to really um, set fears aside and
Yeah.
to and because it's really cool to be in physical space
Yeah.
with so
Yeah. It's important to get a little outside your comfort zone because that's how we grow.
that's right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kristy.
Thanks, Sarah.